In this video, I'm going to be vibe coding with MiniMax M2.1, which is an AI model that a ton of people are using in their vibe coding workflows, and that is ranking very high on vibe coding and coding leaderboards. So with that being said, before we dive into actually vibe coding with this model, where I'll share a couple important things that you should know about the model, I do want to ask that you like, subscribe, and join the BridgeMind Discord community. Also, note that we do have a like goal of 150 likes on this video. So if you haven't already, make sure you like the video. And with that being said, let's get right into testing out this model and vibe coding with MiniMax M2.1. So first things first, LM Arena, you can see here, it's ranked 7th on LM Arena. I think that LM Arena is good to look at for leaderboards just because, people, how this works is people use it and then they vote on which models are better. So you can see it has 6,387 votes, which is pretty good. It has a score of 1422, so it's going a little bit under GLM 4.7, but going back over to OpenRouter, important things to know, this model was launched on the 23rd of December. It has 196,000 contexts, 27 cents per million on the input, and $1.12 per million on the output, which from a cost perspective does put it under GLM 4.7, which is another open source model that a ton of people are using. So if we go over to artificial analysis, which is a great view, not only that LM Arena has where it has the voting, but artificial analysis does a little bit more in-depth analysis of these models. So here you can see how it's performing when compared to some of the frontier models. So when you look at this, you can see, first of all, MiniMax M2 here to MiniMax M2.1. So they were able to improve the model, obviously, but it is performing worse than GLM 4.7, and it's performing way worse than some of the frontier models like GPT 5.2, Claude Opus 4.5, and Gemini 3 Pro. Now, when you go down here, I do want to draw your attention to other important leaderboards. Some of the most important ones being, where is it? It's the Humanities Last Exam. You can see how it does there, 22%. You can see coding here, 41%. So you can see that it performs well, especially when you take into account the price. When you start thinking about not only, okay, how does the model perform, but what is its price? I know that there are a lot of people out there that price is one of the most important things when they're considering using a particular model. So when it comes to MiniMax M2.1, it is by far the most cost-efficient model that you're going to be getting because it performs decent and then it's super, super cheap. Like, hey, if you want to look at the difference between Opus 4.5 and, MiniMax M2.1, it's substantial, right? I mean, look at this. Opus 4.5, $5 per million on the input, $25 per million on the output versus MiniMax, which is basically, I don't even know what that is, what, a 20th of the price? So it's definitely cost efficient. You can also use this model for free using OpenCode. So we are going to be vibe coding using BridgeCode today. So as you guys know, BridgeCode is a fork of OpenCode where we're building additional features on top of OpenCode, and we're staying up to date with upstream updates from OpenCode. But BridgeCode is going to be a way where we can integrate with the Bridge MCP. We can integrate with all of these technologies that we're building at BridgeMind for our vibe coding suite. But I'm going to launch OpenCode because you can actually use this for free inside of OpenCode. So check this out. So MiniMax M2.1, you can use this model. There is some rate limiting, but you can literally use this model for free on OpenCode. So if you are wanting to try this out for free, you can use it on OpenCode. Now, for today, we are going to be using it inside of BridgeCode, and you can see that this is actually the BridgeMind IDE that we're using now. We're probably going to come up with a different name for it, but this is one of the projects that we are working on. In BridgeCode, it's cool because you have a couple different modes. You have diagram mode, Bridge MCP mode, ship mode, docs mode, vibe mode, and then you have the native OpenCode build and plan modes. But we are staying up to date with upstream updates from OpenCode, and then we're building around BridgeMind in the BridgeMind sphere of vibe coding products. So with that being said, let's go to models and let's actually integrate with MiniMax M2.1. So inside here, we're actually just going to search up OpenRouter. All right, so OpenRouter has a lot. So let's go back here and let's just do MiniMax M2.1. Here it is right here, and we'll also change to it here. Models, and then we'll change to MiniMax M2.1 right here, and then same thing, models, MiniMax M2.1. Okay, so we're in MiniMax M2.1, and what I want to do today, what we're going to be vibe coding with is we're going to do a couple different things. First of all, we're going to be doing some UI updates to the BridgeMind site. So one thing that I want to draw your attention to is the BridgeMind Vibeathon. So as you guys know, this is something that we've been planning on rescheduling, and we are going to be making some updates to this page. So here, this was initially going to be, it's a Vibeathon where you build an open source tool that makes vibe coders unstoppable, $1,000 in Bitcoin to the builder who ships the most impactful project. So as you guys know, this is going to be now rescheduled, and we're actually going to be making those updates using MiniMax M2.1. So I'm going to use Whisper Flow here, and I'm going to give it my prompt. But one thing, I mean, we can just dive into it later, but let's just give it a prompt. I want you to evaluate the website, and I want you to take particular note of the BridgeMind Vibeathon, and I want you to update some of the content related to the Vibeathon, particularly the dates of the Vibeathon. The Vibeathon will stem from February 1st, 2026 to February 14th, 2026, and there will be 3 winners competing for $5,000 in prizes. The first winner will get $2,500. The second winner will get $1,500, and the third place winner will get $1,000, totaling $5,000. So I need you to review the banner on the website and update that with the new amount of prizes. I need you to update that with the new amount of winners, and I need you to update the dates for the Vibeathon and some of the content so that it's updated in this way. So here's this prompt. I just pasted the text in, and let's send it off. So here's the prompt. We're gonna be making a couple of these updates, and the next thing that we're gonna do, so while this is working, you can see here is the process of its thinking. You can see the amount of context used and the price here that we're getting billed through OpenRouter. So far, just a penny. So again, this model is going to be very inexpensive. You can see it was able to read the correct pages and find the correct pages, and now it's updating them. It's understanding the current state. So that looks good, but let's get started on another bridge code window. I am having an issue. So as you guys just saw with me using Whisper Flow, we are working on a new product called Bridge Chat, which is a voice-to-text tool that is going to be in the BridgeMind ecosystem of vibe coding products. So one thing I want to draw your attention to is right now we have all of this running here, and if you look here, I'm having an issue just running this, so I do want to figure out what's causing this issue. Yesterday on stream, we did actually, we moved a couple things around because we decided that we were actually going to put the Bridge Chat inside of the BridgeMind ecosystem rather than having Bridge Chat be like a separate brand or product in itself. It's actually going to be included in the BridgeMind subscription. And remember, we are planning on launching this suite of products in February of 2026. So with that being said, let's now at Bridge Chat Desktop, okay? This is the application. I'm going to paste in the error that I'm getting here, and I'm going to just submit it. And we are in vibe mode right now, okay? So this vibe mode is going to be able to, this is a new mode for Bridge Code, and that's one of the reasons that, we're building a fork of OpenCode, and we're building Bridge Code is because Bridge Code will be able to interact with the BridgeMind suite of products. So one of those things would be, for example, just like the BridgeMind MCP, right? The Bridge MCP, where you can actually interact with this Bridge MCP natively, and rather than having to, for example, prompt, hey, I want you to use the Bridge MCP, you're just able to, toggle it in Bridge MCP mode so that it natively works with the MCP and it's able to manage those tasks respectively. So let's check this out. What is it doing? It looks like it's checking the Tory config schema. So this should be able to fix it, and then we'll move forward. It looks like it's just an issue with the schema file. So how does this look? Okay, this looks fine. All right, so it's changing that there, and now it says try running it again. So let's see if we can actually run this again. Let's see if Bridge Code was able to fix it in one shot with MiniMax M2.1. Let's go, and it looks like it works. Okay, perfect. So Bridge Code with MiniMax M2.1. Okay, it fixed that issue, but now there's another issue. So let's now copy this issue and fix it. But it was able to fix that initial issue. So let's now paste in again this new issue. I am now getting this error. Fix this. And you can see that this agent on the left is still working, and we'll be able to pull up what it's doing, but it looks here like this is updating the Vibeathon page with the updated information about the Vibeathon. Really excited to do that Vibeathon. Votes on submission and winners announced live on stream. That's great. Okay, perfect. Okay, so it says that, let's see here. Bridge Chat. Okay, perfect. That's going to be able to work through this. And okay, remove 0 files. The car didn't find anything. And the Rust toolchain. Okay, so it's going to kind of reset some of these things. And I think that will be able to fix it. But I really like using vibe mode. But MiniMax M2.1, let's actually see how it's doing on the website updates. Okay, so here you can see BridgeMind Vibeathon, February 1 to the 14th of 2026, $5,000 prize pool, 3 winners. So it did everything perfectly. And I would actually say that it totally maintained the integrity of the styling of the page as well, which is very interesting. So you can see that not only was it able to update it, but it was able to maintain the integrity. And the big question that a lot of people will probably ask is, hey, how does it look? What's the responsiveness? And the responsiveness is pretty good as well. So look at that. Really good responsiveness even on mobile. Now, I am going to look up another issue. So I had an issue reported on the BridgeMind website that for some reason, people were having issues scrolling on different browsers. So what I want to do now is I actually want to make it so that we're going to be, and it looks like this. Okay, so this is on my other screen right now, but I do have the option to sign in for Bridge Chat. So I do see Bridge Chat running here. There's a sign in button for it, but Bridge Chat is now running. Can I pull it up? Let me see here. Let me see if I can find Bridge Chat. We're going to have to update a few things with that. But let's now launch this another agent, and we're going to switch to plan mode for this with MiniMax M2.1. I want you to review the BridgeMind UI, and I want you to identify why some users on different browsers or different computers are having issues with scrolling. People have reported that on some pages they are unable to scroll or there is no scroll bar. I need you to review the application and figure out why exactly that is happening and create a plan with updates to fix this issue. You need to diagnose and pinpoint exactly why this is happening. Okay, so we're going to submit this. And that's going to go in right there. And this, we're going to have to cancel out of this. It looks like this is downloading and building. Let's collapse it. One thing that I need you to review. Okay, let's actually launch another. So all I have to do is I'm going to keep it here. I'm going to launch a vertical pane. And you can see like, hey, this issue here was very cheap to update. I mean, if I used like Gemini 3 Pro for that, it probably would have cost like, $1 for this update, but it only cost 8 cents for MiniMax M2.1. So I will say, I mean, it got the job done perfectly, and it was able to do it in a way where it didn't cost me a bunch of money. So, it's not the best model, it's not the smartest model, but I will say that, it got the job done very inexpensively. So let's change over to build mode here, and let's add Bridge Chat. And there's just one thing that I want to do. Currently, there is a sign-in button that is required, and I want you to make it so that this is not required for now. I don't want to worry about authentication inside of Bridge Chat right now. I want any user to be able to use it. Review this logic, and I want you to update it so that we remove the requirement for authenticating for now. Okay, so there's that. Let's just build this out. This one here, remove the invalid protocols. Okay, perfect. The build is now compiling successfully for Bridge Chat. So you guys can see that, hey, it nailed our front-end updates, and now it's working on some of the, this Tori app. This Electron stuff is good as well. This over here, it's investigating and creating a plan. It's going to be able to review everything and then create a structured plan to figure out this error and then diagnose it and then fix it. Here, it's saying that I can see the issue. It's going to fix that gate. So I do have another thing that I want to say. I want you to review the positioning and the styling of the Bridge Chat icon. So right now, it's positioned above the Mac OS toolbar. And I need you to make it so that it is okay. You can see it's actually the same thing with Whisper Flow. So let's try this out. We're gonna launch it again. I'm actually not going to submit this. I'm gonna wait for this one to finish because I actually don't want the auth wrapper there yet because that's a little bit more of a complex issue. Maybe we can actually create a structured plan for that though, because for example, hey, even when I'm using the BridgeMind workspace here, which you guys are seeing and I'm using right now to be able to run all these agents, I'm using that right now, and that is auth-gated, right? I have to have a BridgeMind account. I have to be signed in, but we don't want to worry about that yet with Bridge Chat. I want to use a little bit of a smarter model potentially. We could try that out in this video and see if we could actually build that out with MiniMax M2.1 and Bridge Code, but we'll see. I want to wait for this one to finish, and then we'll relaunch and try again. So let's actually open up a new workspace, and I'm just going to name this one NPM, and I'm going to put this in red so that I know, okay, this is going to be the workspace where I'm managing all of my different terminals. So let's cd into my desktop, and then let's cd into BridgeMind, and then let's cd into Bridge Chat desktop, and now let's run npm run Tori dev, and let's see what happens now when I run this. Okay, perfect. Okay, so it's now running. It's going up. All the models were loaded successfully, and I do now see the Bridge Chat. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I do have Bridge Chat running. I do want to fix one thing though, so let's pull up this workspace again. Okay, one thing that I want you to take a look at is right now with Bridge Chat, there is this icon, and with the icon at the bottom, I'm able to talk into it and there's an effect, but I want you to make it so that this icon is positioned on the screen that the user is focused on. Right now, it's hard-coded to be positioned above the toolbar on a Mac. I want you to fix this so that it's updated to make it so that it will be positioned on whatever screen that the user is focused on. So you guys can see, like, the issue that I'm having is that you guys can't actually see the Bridge Chat. You guys can't see this right now, right? But we want to make it so that, and here's one thing. I wonder if, does MiniMax M2.1, does it take in images? I'm actually not sure. So let's actually turn this into plan mode here, and we'll kind of create a structured plan. But here with Bridge Chat, I now have the ability to, okay, so here is Bridge Chat, and you guys can see that I've spoken 3,650 total words to it. Speaking time, 23 minutes, 170 sessions, words per minute, 155. Was this one able to figure out what the issue was? So you can see that it did, okay, so it says Control X right to view sub-agents. So let's see, okay, wow. So here are all the sub-agents that it launched when planning out this task. So you can see that this is still working here, and we'll let this finish working. But this actually is doing a pretty good job. I mean, it nailed this. It was able to remove the off because I can now use Bridge Chat. You guys can't see the icon, but for example, this is Bridge Chat. This is a quick test of Bridge Chat. So there it is. This is a quick test of Bridge Chat. That is Bridge Chat doing that. So that is going to be a product in our vibe coding workflow. All I have to do is I can set it up where the hotkeys are anything that I want. So if I just, let me just force quit. Can I force quit Whisper Flow here? Let's, hold on, let's pull up Whisper Flow, and then let's force quit Whisper Flow, and we'll go on from there. So let's pull up Whisper Flow, and let's just force quit Whisper Flow, and then we'll only use Bridge Chat, okay? So you can see that we're launching BridgeMind, which is an Electron app, and then Bridge Chat, which is the Tori app. Let's force quit Whisper Flow. So you can see that that just went away there, and now we're only going to use Bridge Chat for the rest of this video. So this is going out with this plan, and again, we can do the Control X right to launch any sub-agents, but I will say that what I'm seeing right now from MiniMax is it is getting the job done for a very in a very inexpensive way, okay? It's working, it's thinking a lot, it's getting the job done. Now, you could make the argument of the fact that the speed isn't great. Like if we go back to OpenRouter, what is the speed? I mean, the speed on OpenRouter is pretty good. Atlas Cloud, it's not that good at 25 tokens per second, but for the most part, the speed is pretty good at 72 tokens per second. MiniMax, it's 57. How does that compare to GLM 4.7? And well, Opus 4.5 is like 36 right now. So Opus 4.5 isn't that fast anymore. I don't know. It's kind of like been deprecated. Maybe there's just so much demand. But you can see that, okay, GLM 4.7 is a little bit slower than MiniMax M2.1. So MiniMax M2.1 is, on average faster, at least right now, than GLM 4.7. I wonder if we can see this inside of the speed here. And the speed, is there a speed index that we can get to? I don't know how to get to that speed index. So I do think that it is faster and it's getting the job done. You can see that it's working through all of these, and you can see that it actually is finding some of these scrolling issues, and this one is also planning out. So we'll let it work for a while, but I will say that when you're using bridge code and you're in plan mode, it does plan for a while, which is a good thing. Okay, let's go to this one and let's use Bridge Chat and give it a prompt. I want you to now run npm run build and fix any build errors. So we're going to run npm run build. We're going to fix any build errors, and then we're going to deploy that to production so that that is updated. There'll be some more information about the Vibeathon here in the next live stream. So that's going to go up. It looks like the build is going out successfully, and here is this bridge chat here. This bridge code agent is done. Now, what is this here? So you can see that this is what it found. And can we now? How do I? Okay, cool. All right, we just tanked that chat. That's all right. All right, bridge code. Is there a way for me to resume past conversations? Resume list sessions. Okay, so which one was it? It was this one here. So we'll open that session back up. And let's actually switch out of plan mode and let's go to ship mode. And I'm going to use bridge chat. I now want you to update the code to fix this scrolling error. Okay, so let's update the code to fix the scrolling error. What's this one saying? So this one is saying update the main to use this. Okay. All right, mouse position. Okay, make the updates with best practices. All right, so we're going to change this one to ship mode as well. And this is going to be able to build that out. So the root issue here, the scrolling problem is caused by a CSS stacking context conflict between multiple overflow X hidden declarations. So it was able to find the root issue here. This one is going here and fixing any build errors. That looks good. Okay. All right, so that'll be fixed. This one was able to remove the auth. This one here is going to try and fix the mouse positioning. So the issue here that this one's trying to fix is, this bridge chat, it's fixed under the toolbar. And really what it should be is it should be fixed in whatever screen I'm focused on. So we just need to update some of the code to be able to do that. So we'll see if that's able to get it in one shot. Now here, let's see, on a flex container reflector. Okay. All right, this looks good. This one's working well. This one's in build mode. This one's in ship mode. This one's in ship mode. This one, okay, I want you to review the project in complete depth, and I want you to take particular note of how we are going to handle auth. Would you look at the following projects? So the reason that we kind of had to rethink this approach is because there's some code in or actually not the web app, okay, and I actually just lost that prompt. Okay, so this one is now updating, and I can't even see the screen. Okay, is it still working though? Let's see. This is a quick test. Okay, so this one actually did make some adverse updates here that we'll need to fix. But all in all, like, one thing that I do want to draw your attention to is that, okay, look at the cost that's being spent for this, right? 12 cents, 4 cents, 3 cents, 1 cent, right? And you can even use this for free inside of OpenCode if you don't want to spend anything. But I think that, MiniMax M2.1 will get the job done. It won't get the job done as efficiently or as correctly as some of the frontier models. So what I will say is that, hey, I think that for tasks that may be related to simple UI, you're going to save a ton of money by using a model like MiniMax M2.1, where, Claude Opus 4.5 may be overkill for that task, right? So why spend $1 using Opus 4.5 when you could spend 10 cents using MiniMax M2.1? Or that difference may even be more. But if we now go down here, what I do want to draw your attention to as well, which is important, is the hallucination rate. Okay, so this is a hallucination rate index. Let's go over here, and what you can see is that Opus 4.5, one of the reasons that this model is so good at vibe coding and at coding in general is that it does have the lowest hallucination rate. So you can see, check this out, the hallucination rate for MiniMax M2.1 is actually pretty low. It performs better than GPT 5.2 and better than Gemini 3 Pro. And if you do go to this one, it is not that great. It's minus 30, but it does perform much better than MiniMax M2, and then for the accuracy, you can see, this one is not great. So there's kind of some conflicting views there, but here, higher is better. So this performs not super great, But again, I think that for this model, I am going to give it the BridgeMind stamp of approval because, hey, just the cost benefit of this model is so significant that, hey, if you go back to our Vibeathon page, it did everything that I asked perfectly. So you may have to be a little bit more specific in your prompts, but at the end of the day, you're probably going to save quite a lot of money using MiniMax M2.1 in your workflow because, I mean, look at this model. It performs better than GPT-5. So it's like, hey, you have a model that is literally like 27 cents per million on the input and like close to $1 on the output, super cheap, that's performing better than the frontier model that we had less than 6 months ago. So you can see how fast this field is changing. You can see how fast it's evolving. I'm going to approve this model. I think that it's getting the job done. I'm going to continue these updates off this video, but definitely was able to make the correct updates and get the stuff done that we needed to. And I am going to be using this model in my workflow for like some simpler tasks that I don't need Opus 4.5 for, or I don't need a frontier model for, because it's going to save you a ton of money. So with that being said, guys, I will see you guys in the future. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys on stream later this evening. See ya.